The black sea of space was quiet. Silent stars burned far away, and the endless dark stretched like a cold ocean. Then came the thunder. Human warships moved through the void, their engines glowing bright. At the front of the fleet was Commander Marcus Hale, a man known for his iron will and sharp mind. He had fought many battles and never lost. On this night, Marcus had one goal: capture the last alien vessel of the Karen species. For years, humans had fought these aliens. The Karen were fast, clever, and dangerous. But now their empire was broken. Only scattered ships remained, hiding in the shadows of forgotten worlds. Marcus's ship, Iron Dawn, hunted them with cold patience. The crew was tense, waiting for the order. They knew the Karen were like cornered wolves, dangerous even when weak. "Target locked," whispered the tactical officer. On the screen appeared the alien ship, broken and scarred, drifting slowly near an asteroid field. Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Bring us in. Ready the boarding team." The human fleet moved fast. Laser fire burned through the black sky. The alien ship tried to run, but it was too damaged. Within minutes, Iron Dawn had forced it to halt. The humans cut into its hull like knives through flesh. Inside the alien ship, the air was thick with smoke and sparks. Marcus led the team himself, weapon in hand. His boots hit the metal floor, echoing through the dying ship. He expected soldiers waiting for a fight. He expected blood, but what he found was something very different. In the center of the chamber, there was no army, no guards, only one figure. She was tall, her body covered in pale silver skin that shimmered faintly in the light. Her long arms held two small children close to her chest. She was not a warrior. She was a mother. The human soldiers froze. Their weapons stayed raised, but confusion filled their eyes. The alien mother looked at Marcus. Her black, glass-like eyes showed no fear, only fierce protection. She slowly lowered to her knees, shielding the children with her body. And then she spoke. Her voice was strange, rough, as if it hurt her to form human words. Yet the message was clear: "Spare me, and I will give you the strongest heirs." The chamber went silent. Only the crackle of damaged circuits filled the air. The soldiers looked at each other, unsure if they had heard correctly. A few even laughed nervously. But Marcus did not laugh. His grip tightened on his weapon. "What did you say?" His voice was steady, but inside his heart beat faster. The alien mother repeated, slower this time. "Spare me, human. Protect me, and I will give you heirs stronger than any human, stronger than any Karen." Marcus studied her. Her children whimpered softly in her arms. She did not move. She did not beg for her own life, only offered something strange, something that made no sense. The crew whispered among themselves. "It's a trick. She's lying. Why would she say that?" Marcus raised a hand and the whispers died. He stepped closer. His eyes locked on hers. "You mean to breed with humans?" he asked coldly. The alien mother tilted her head. "Not breed, create future human and Karen. Together, a child of two worlds. Stronger than war, stronger than death." Her words crawled into the minds of the humans. The idea was insane. A human alien heir? Impossible, and yet something in her voice made it feel real. One soldier hissed, "Sir, she's trying to manipulate us. We should kill her now." Another muttered, "No. What if she's telling the truth?" Tension filled the chamber like poison gas. Marcus stood still, his mind racing. He had fought Karen for years. He had seen their cruelty, their cunning. Yet this one, kneeling with her children, did not look cruel. She looked desperate and powerful in a way he did not understand. The alien mother leaned forward, her voice a whisper that seemed to echo in Marcus's skull. "Choose, human. Kill me and end my bloodline, or spare me, and begin something greater than you can imagine." Marcus felt something stir inside him. For the first time in years, he hesitated. His soldiers waited for his order, fingers on triggers. The children's small eyes glowed faintly, not like human eyes, not like pure alien eyes either. Something in between. The moment stretched. Every second felt like an hour. Finally, Marcus lowered his weapon slightly. Not a command, not yet, just a pause. The soldiers looked at him in shock. "Sir?" But Marcus said nothing. He only stared at the alien mother, trying to see the truth in her black eyes. And then, without warning, the ship shook violently. A blast rocked the chamber. Warning lights flared red. The alien vessel was breaking apart. The crew shouted, alarms screamed. Marcus turned back to the alien mother. She had not moved. She only tightened her arms around her children, waiting, in that chaos with fire and smoke around them. Her words still echoed in his head, "Spare me, and I will give you the strongest heirs." The future of both species now rested in his hands. The wreck of the alien ship was silent now, torn open by human fire. Most of its systems were dead, but one chamber still held life. In that chamber, behind reinforced glass, sat the alien mother. Commander Marcus Hale stood outside the cell, staring at her. His soldiers had taken her children away for safety checks. The little ones were frightened but alive. The mother had not fought when they were separated. She had only watched Marcus with those black, shining eyes. The crew whispered about her every hour. Some called her dangerous. Others called her a liar. But none could stop thinking about her strange words. Marcus finally entered the room. The heavy doors sealed shut behind him. For a moment, neither spoke. The alien mother was tall, even while sitting. Her silver skin reflected the dim light. She did not beg. She did not tremble. She only spoke when Marcus drew close. "My name is Kalira," she said softly. Her voice was smoother now, as if her tongue had learned the shape of human speech. "I am the last queen of the Karin." Marcus folded his arms. "Your people are nearly gone. Humanity won. Why should I spare you?" Kalira tilted her head, studying him. "Because war was never what we wanted. You think the Karin attacked without reason, but you never knew the truth." Marcus's jaw tightened. "I know enough. Your fleets burned our colonies. Millions died." "Yes," Kalira admitted, her gaze heavy. "And mine died too. Not by choice, but by design. We were pushed into war. A greater force used us and you like pawns." Her words cut through Marcus's mind like a blade. Lies, he told himself. They had to be lies. And yet her eyes did not look like the eyes of a deceiver. He stepped closer to the glass. "You said something before. About heirs. About a future. Explain it." Kalira's voice lowered, almost like a whisper meant only for him. "Our blood is dying. The Karin cannot survive as we are. But mixed with you, with humanity, a new bloodline is possible, stronger than both. Heirs who can lead the stars, not just one world." Marcus stared at her in silence. Around them, the ship groaned as engineers worked to keep it from falling apart. "You expect me to believe that humans and Karin can create life together?" Marcus asked finally. Kalira leaned forward. Her silver skin glowed faintly in the low light. "Not expect, promise. You have already seen the signs." Marcus remembered the strange glow in her children's eyes. They were not pure Karin. Something about them was different. Something human. His mind turned cold. Those children, their father, was human. Kalira did not answer with words. She only held his gaze, and that silence was enough. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. This was bigger than war. This was something his government would want to control, to twist, to weaponize. Behind him, the doors opened. Lieutenant Rourke entered, his face hard. "Commander, this is madness. She's manipulating you. We need to execute her before she infects more minds with her lies." Kalira stood inside her cell, calm as stone. "I have no lies. Only the truth you fear." Rourke's hand gripped his sidearm. "Sir, with respect, give the order." The tension in the air was sharp as a blade. Marcus turned slowly toward his officer. "Stand down, Lieutenant." Rourke's eyes widened. "Sir, you can't be serious." "I said stand down," Marcus growled, his voice leaving no space for argument. Rourke lowered his weapon, but his glare was heavy with defiance. He left the chamber in silence, but Marcus knew the man's anger would not stay quiet for long. Kalira watched with careful eyes. "Your soldiers doubt you. They fear me. And perhaps they should." Marcus narrowed his gaze. "And why is that?" Kalira lifted one hand. A faint glow spread across her palm. Sparks of light floated in the air, soft but powerful. Marcus felt a warmth against his skin, even through the glass. His old scar, the deep cut across his arm from years ago, began to tingle. The pain faded. He pulled back sharply. "What are you doing?" "Healing," Kalira said simply. "I can mend flesh. I can bend thought. I can pass this power to the next generation. Heirs stronger than either race alone. That is what I offer you." Marcus's heart pounded. Her voice carried both danger and temptation. If she spoke the truth, then killing her would be a crime against the future. But sparing her could make him a traitor. He turned to leave. Her final words followed him out of the chamber. "Decide quickly, human. For if Earth takes me, your leaders will not protect me. They will destroy what they do not understand. And when they do, your future dies with me." As the doors sealed behind him, Marcus knew one thing for certain. The war was not over. It had only changed its shape. And somewhere deep inside, he feared Kalira was right. The human warship Iron Dawn drifted through the dark sea of space, carrying both victory and unease. The alien mother, Kalira, sat inside her sealed chamber. Her children were watched by medical teams, but no harm was done to them. Yet her presence was like a shadow across the entire crew. Commander Marcus Hale walked the corridors, silent and tense. Everywhere he went, soldiers stared at him with questioning eyes. Some whispered that their leader was falling under alien control. Others whispered something stranger, that perhaps the alien queen carried the key to a future they did not understand. Marcus entered the chamber again. The heavy doors shut behind him with a hiss. Kalira rose from where she had been sitting, tall and calm. Her black eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. "You return," she said softly. "Good. It means doubt has already begun to grow inside you." Marcus clenched his jaw. "I don't trust you, but I need answers." Kalira's lips curved into something close to a smile, though it did not feel warm. "Then you will have them." Marcus stepped closer. "You said war was never your choice. You said something pushed the Karen to fight. Explain." Kalira's gaze turned distant, as if she were looking through the walls of the ship, into the stars beyond. "Long before humans reached the skies, my people knew peace. We had great cities, vast knowledge, and powers you cannot imagine. But then came the Hunters, a race older than both our kinds. They moved from world to world, feeding on strength, feeding on fear. When they found us, they gave us one choice: fight their enemies or be destroyed." Marcus frowned. "You mean, we were never your enemies? The Karen were forced to fight humanity?" Kalira's eyes locked on his. "Yes, the Hunters knew humanity was rising. They feared what you could become, so they turned us into your enemy. They used our claws as their weapon against you." Marcus felt a cold shiver down his spine. He had killed Karen soldiers. He had watched colonies burn. But what if it had all been the design of some unseen master? His voice was low, almost a whisper. "Why should I believe you?" Kalira stepped closer to the glass wall, her silver skin glowing faintly. "Because you have already seen the signs. Strange attacks, fleets that moved like they had help. Technologies too advanced for my people alone. Ask yourself, Marcus Hale, did it never feel wrong?" Marcus's breath caught. Deep inside, he had always wondered. Many victories had come too easily. Many battles had felt strange, as if someone had pulled strings on both sides. He tried to push the thought away. "Even if it's true, you still killed millions." Her voice hardened. "And how many Karen children burned under your fire? We both bled. We both lost. Do not pretend only humans suffered." The words hit him like a blade. For a moment, Marcus saw not a monster, not an enemy, but a mother who had lost everything. Kalira's voice softened again. "That is why I speak of heirs. If humans and Karen join, if our blood mixes, the Hunters will not be able to control us. Together, our children will be the ones they fear." Marcus shook his head. "You speak of a future that may never exist." Kalira raised her hand to the glass. "Then let me show you." Before Marcus could move, her black eyes flared with strange light. A wave of warmth spread through his skull. The chamber vanished around him. He stood in a vision. Stars burned bright across the heavens. In the middle stood a child, small with human features but alien eyes glowing like fire. The child's voice echoed in his mind, "Father." Marcus staggered back, his breath caught in his chest. The image faded. The chamber returned. Kalira still stood before him, her hand raised. "What did you do to me?" Marcus hissed. "I showed you what waits," Kalira said calmly. "Not fantasy, possibility. A child who could be yours. A child who could lead both our kinds to freedom." Marcus's chest tightened. The vision had felt real, too real. The sound of that child's voice still rang in his ears. He turned away, forcing his breathing to steady. "This changes nothing. I still don't trust you." Kalira's voice followed him as he walked to the door. "You don't have to trust me, Marcus Hale. You only have to choose which future you fear more, the one where your leaders kill me, or the one where our heirs rise." The doors opened with a heavy hiss. Marcus stepped out, shaken, but the worst was yet to come. Outside the chamber, he saw Lieutenant Rourke waiting in the shadows, watching him with cold, suspicious eyes. Rourke muttered under his breath, just loud enough for Marcus to hear, She's already inside your head, sir. If you don't end her soon, we will. Marcus's blood turned cold. The hidden war was no longer only between humans and Karian. It was now inside his own ship, and in his heart. He feared that the next battle would not be fought with weapons, but with loyalty, trust, and the truth he was not ready to face. The warship Iron Dawn floated in the black ocean of space, but inside its steel walls another war was growing. It was not a war with lasers or fleets. It was a war of trust, a war of whispers. Commander Marcus Hale walked the corridors with heavy steps. He had not slept in 2 nights. The vision Kalira had shown him burned in his mind. A child calling him father with glowing alien eyes. It felt too real, too powerful. But worse than the vision were the looks of his own men. They no longer looked at him as their leader. They looked at him as if he carried infection. In the mess hall, voices grew louder each day. She's twisting his mind. He talks to her more than to us. She needs to be destroyed before it's too late. Lieutenant Rourke fed the flames of doubt. He was respected by many in the crew, and his voice carried weight. He told them Marcus was falling under alien control. He told them Kalira was not a prisoner, but a parasite. And slowly, men began to believe. Marcus knew the storm was coming, but he could not act without breaking his crew apart. So he watched. He listened. He waited, but Kalira knew as well. When Marcus entered her chamber that evening, she rose to her full height and stared at him with those black eyes. "They are planning against you," she said calmly, as if speaking of the weather. Marcus froze. "What do you mean?" Her gaze never moved. "I can hear their thoughts, their fear, their anger. Some will try to kill me, but they will not stop there. They will move against you too. Because you protect me." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Names, who?" Kalira shook her head slowly. "Does it matter? Once doubt takes root, it spreads. You cannot cut every leaf. You must strike at the root." Her words made his blood run cold. She spoke like a queen who had seen kingdoms fall. She spoke like someone who had survived betrayal before. That night, Marcus tried to rest, but alarms ripped him awake. His door burst open. 2 soldiers entered, weapons drawn. "Commander, stay back." One barked. Marcus's instincts moved faster than thought. He disarmed the first man with a twist, slammed him against the wall, and pointed the weapon at the second. "What is this?" Marcus growled. The soldier's hands shook. "Sir, it's not you we're after. It's her." Marcus's heart sank. "Kalira." He ran through the halls, the captured soldiers stumbling behind him. Red warning lights painted the steel walls in bloody shadows. He reached the chamber and found chaos. Rourke and 3 armed men had broken in. Kalira stood in the center, tall and silent as weapons aimed at her chest. "Stop this," Marcus roared. Rourke's eyes burned with fury. "No, sir. This ends now. You've let her poison you. We all see it. If you won't protect humanity, I will." Marcus raised his weapon. His voice was iron. "Lower your guns, Lieutenant." "That's an order." But Rourke did not move. His finger tightened on the trigger. At that moment, Kalira moved. Not to fight, not to flee. She spread her arms wide, exposing her chest. "Do it then," she said, her voice calm. "Kill me. But when you do, remember, you are not killing an enemy. You are killing your future." The soldiers hesitated. Even Rourke blinked, his breath uneven. Marcus took the chance. "Listen to yourselves. We're supposed to be soldiers, not butchers. She saved lives during the battle. She surrendered without blood. And still you want to shoot an unarmed mother?" The crew wavered, torn between their fear and his words. But Rourke snapped back, his voice like fire. "She's no mother. She's a weapon! And you're too blind to see it." He raised his weapon again, aiming not at Kalira but at Marcus. The chamber froze. Kalira's black eyes glowed faintly. Her voice whispered, echoing in the minds of everyone present. "Choose, Marcus Hale, them, or me." Marcus's hand shook. He had fought alien fleets, stared death in the face 100 times. But this was different. These were his own men, his own brothers in arms, and yet in their eyes he saw no loyalty left. The silence shattered with a shot. One soldier fell, weapon clattering. Not Kalira, not Marcus, but one of the rebels struck down by a loyal crewman who had entered from behind. More footsteps echoed, other soldiers rushing in. Some raised their guns at Rourke, others at Kalira. The chamber became a powder keg ready to explode with one spark. Marcus stood tall, his weapon steady. Enough! Anyone who fires another shot will answer to me directly. I will tear you down myself if I must. The room held still. No one moved. Kalira slowly lowered her arms. Her gaze never left Marcus. There was no fear in her eyes, only certainty. The mutineers backed away, dragged out by loyal men. Rourke was forced to surrender, though his glare promised the fight was far from over. As the doors sealed again, Marcus looked back at Kalira. She stood in silence, her children now clutching her arms. Her voice was quiet, almost gentle. This was only the beginning. Your people will turn on you again. They fear what they do not understand, and they always destroy what they fear. Marcus felt the weight of her words. He knew she was right. And somewhere deep inside, a darker fear grew, that the greatest threat to Kalira's life was not alien fleets, not hunters from the stars. It was his own people. The Iron Dawn sailed through the endless dark, but there was no peace inside its walls. The mutiny had been crushed, yet Marcus knew the fire was not gone. It only smoldered in secret. The crew walked the halls with quiet eyes, divided in their loyalty. Some followed him. Others followed fear. Marcus stood in the command deck, staring at the stars. His thoughts were heavy, his chest tight. He had led men against alien fleets, but nothing had ever torn him apart like this choice. Protect Kalira, or obey Earth. The answer came sooner than he expected. A signal crackled through the ship's systems. The screen lit up with the seal of Earth Command. A sharp-faced admiral appeared, his uniform spotless, his eyes cold. Commander Hale. The admiral's voice cut through the air. Reports confirm you hold the alien queen alive. Is this true? Marcus straightened. Yes, Admiral. She is secure in containment. Good, the admiral said. You are to deliver her immediately to Earth Science Division. Do not delay. She will be examined, studied, and disposed of if necessary. Marcus's jaw tightened. She surrendered. She carries children. She is not a weapon. The admiral's eyes narrowed. That alien slaughtered our colonies. Her kind bled us dry. Do not let weakness blind you. Your orders are clear. Deliver her. Do you understand? The screen flickered off. Silence returned to the command deck. Marcus stood frozen, his hands clenched into fists. Every part of him wanted to obey. He was a soldier, trained to follow. Yet his heart whispered another truth. If he gave Kalira to Earth, she would not live long. The scientists would carve her open. Her children would vanish into experiments. Her promise of a future would die. Later, Marcus entered the chamber. Kalira stood waiting, her children beside her, their glowing eyes wide and curious. You heard, she said quietly. Marcus nodded. They want you delivered. They won't spare you. Kalira stepped closer to the glass. I told you, Marcus. They will always destroy what they fear. Do you see it now? Marcus's voice was rough. You ask me to betray my own people. My command. My duty. Kalira tilted her head. I ask you to protect the future. There is a difference. Marcus turned away, his thoughts pulling him apart. He remembered the vision she had shown him, the child calling him father. Was it only a trick, or a warning of what could be lost? The door hissed open. Lieutenant Rourke stormed in, his hands bound, escorted by 2 guards. He had been locked in the brig since the mutiny. His face was bruised, but his voice burned like fire. You see, sir? Rourke spat. Command knows the truth. She's poison, and you're too blind to follow orders. Do your job and hand her over, or you'll doom us all. Marcus stared at him with cold eyes. Enough, Rourke! But Rourke leaned forward, his voice like venom. You think she cares for you? She's using you. She's in your head. Every word, every vision, it's all lies. She'll tear us apart from the inside. That's what she is. Kalira spoke then, her voice sharp as glass. And yet I saved your life. Rourke turned, rage filling his eyes. You saved me? Kalira lifted her hand. A soft glow shimmered. Marcus felt the warmth again, the strange pull of her power. When your ship was hit, when fire burned across your side, she whispered, I reached through your pain. I closed the wound before it killed you. Even as you cursed me, I spared you. Rourke froze, his breath sharp. His hand touched the scar hidden beneath his uniform, the scar that had healed too quickly, too clean. His eyes flickered with confusion, but his voice hardened again. Tricks, nothing but tricks, Marcus turned on him. Enough, Lieutenant. You'll speak when spoken to. The guards dragged Rourke away, but his final words echoed in the chamber. She'll destroy you, Hale. And when she does, don't expect us to follow. The doors sealed, leaving Marcus and Kalira alone again. Her voice softened. Do you see, Marcus? Even when I heal them, they hate me. Even when I spare them, they call it poison. What do you think Earth will do when they have me in chains? Marcus's heart pounded. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to believe his people were better. But deep down he knew she was right. He looked into her black eyes and saw no fear, only certainty. What do you want from me? He whispered. Kalira's answer was simple, her voice steady. I want you to choose. Duty to orders, or duty to what comes after. Marcus stood silent, trapped between two worlds. Behind him, Earth Command demanded obedience. In front of him, Kalira offered a future no human had ever imagined. And outside, in the darkness of space, unseen shadows stirred, the hunters she had spoken of, closing in on the scent of their lost queen. Marcus clenched his fists. He knew his next decision would not only decide Kalira's fate, it would decide the fate of humanity itself. The warship Iron Dawn cut through the silence of space, carrying with it a storm of choices. Inside its steel walls, Commander Marcus Hale felt the weight of two galaxies pressing down on his shoulders. On one side was Earth, his people, his command, his home. Their orders were simple: deliver Kalira, alive or dead. On the other side stood the alien queen herself, calm and certain, promising a future that no human commander could believe without trembling. But beyond both sides, in the deep dark, something else was moving. Marcus stood in the command deck when the first warning came. Sensors blared, red lights flashed. Unidentified ships closing fast, shouted the tactical officer. Multiple signatures. Too fast for pirates, too strong for wreckage. Marcus's blood ran cold. He had seen this before. Ships that did not belong to humans, ships that did not belong to Karen. The hunters. Kalira's words returned to him like a whisper. They pushed us into war. They are the true enemy. He stared at the screen. Sleek black vessels slid from the shadows, their movements sharp like predators circling prey. Commander? The officer asked, fear creeping into his voice. Marcus's jaw tightened. Shields up. Weapons ready. But Kalira's voice echoed across the deck. She spoke through the ship's comms, calm and clear. You cannot defeat them with weapons. They have faced stronger than you. If you fight them as you are, you will die. Her words chilled the crew. Many looked to Marcus for answers, but his eyes stayed on the growing fleet outside. Commander, another officer said, pale and shaking. We're caught between Earth's command and these things. What do we do? Marcus did not answer. His mind was torn. Earth demanded Kalira's capture. The hunters demanded her death. And Kalira demanded something greater: trust. Later, in her chamber, he stood before her again. Her children clung to her arms, their glowing eyes watching Marcus with silent curiosity. They've come, he said flatly. Kalira nodded once. Yes, they will not stop. They will burn your ship apart just to reach me. Unless, Marcus's voice hardened. Unless what? Kalira stepped closer to the glass. Her silver skin shimmered, her black eyes deep as the void. Unless you stand with me. Unless you choose not to obey Earth. Not to obey fear, but to fight for what comes after. Marcus shook his head. You're asking me to betray everything I swore to protect. No, Kalira said softly. I am asking you to protect more than you ever dreamed. The hunters fear what our blood could create. That is why they forced the war. That is why they hunt me. They know the truth. Together we are their end. Marcus turned away. His thoughts burned. He remembered the vision, the child calling him father. He remembered Rourke's words calling Kalira poison. And now Earth's voice ordered him to deliver her like a prize. The door hissed open. Lieutenant Rourke was there again, this time under guard but still defiant. His voice cut like steel. Commander, this is our chance. Hand her over to the hunters. Let them finish what they started. Earth will thank you. Humanity will be safe, Marcus spun on him. Safe? Do you think they'll stop with her? If they take Kalira, they'll come for Earth next. For all of us. Rourke's eyes flashed. Better Earth fights them without her lies twisting us. The guards dragged him back, but his words lingered in the air like poison. Outside, the black ships drew closer. Energy built around them, strange weapons humming in the dark. Marcus returned to the command deck. His crew waited, breathless. Some looked ready to fight, others looked ready to run. He stared at the hunters on the screen, then at the message from Earth still blinking in his console. Deliver the alien queen. 2 paths stretched before him. If he obeyed Earth, Kalira would die in chains. If he handed her to the hunters, she would burn in fire. But if he chose neither, if he fought for her, he would turn his back on everything he had ever been. Kalira's voice touched his mind again, soft as a whisper, strong as iron. You know the truth now. The war was never between us. The war's against them. Choose Marcus Hale, war or future. Marcus closed his eyes. The ship trembled as the hunters locked weapons. He opened his eyes, his decision burning in them like fire. Prepare for battle, he ordered. We're not handing her over. Not to Earth, not to them, the crew gasped. Some shouted in shock. Others gripped their stations with grim resolve. Marcus's voice thundered across the deck. If they want her, they'll have to go through us first. The hunters moved in, black ships gleaming with deadly light. The Iron Dawn stood alone in the void, human steel against ancient predators. And Marcus Hale knew this battle would decide more than survival. It would decide whether humanity's future belonged to fear, or to something greater. The void lit up with fire. The Iron Dawn shook as beams of alien energy slammed against its shields. Sparks flew across the command deck, alarms screamed, and fear filled every corner of the ship. Marcus Hale stood at the center, his voice steady as the storm raged. Hold the line. Return fire. Human guns roared back, streaks of light cutting through the black. One hunter ship exploded in a burst of flame, but 3 more closed in. They moved like predators, precise and merciless. The crew fought with desperate courage, but Marcus knew the truth. This was not a battle they could win with weapons alone. Commander, the tactical officer shouted.
Shields at 30%.
Hull breaches on deck 5. Marcus's jaw tightened. He turned to the screen where Kalira's chamber appeared. She stood calm, her children beside her. Her black eyes burned with strange light. Release me. Her voice came through the comm. I can help. Marcus hesitated. The thought of letting her out during battle was madness. But the hunters were tearing them apart. His choices were running out. He slammed the control. The locks opened. The chamber doors hissed wide. Kalira stepped into the command deck like a queen walking into her throne room. The crew froze, fear and awe mixing in their eyes. The children clung to her arms, their gaze glowing like stars. She raised her hands. A wave of shimmering energy spread across the ship. The trembling metal stilled. The dying shields flared bright again, stronger than before. The crew gasped. What is she doing? Marcus's voice was steady. She's keeping us alive. Outside, the hunters fired again, but their blasts shattered against a shield brighter than any human technology. Kalira's power pulsed like a heartbeat, feeding the ship's strength. The hunters faltered. For the first time, they pulled back, but they were not finished. Their largest ship moved forward, massive and dark, energy building in its core. Kalira's voice whispered in Marcus's mind. They want me. They will burn you all just to end me. Let me go. Marcus shook his head. No, if you die, everything dies with you. Kalira looked at him, her expression unreadable. Then stand with me. Not as jailer, not as captor, but as ally. For a heartbeat, Marcus felt the weight of his oath, the voice of Earth Command, the faces of his crew. But deeper than that, he felt the truth. The war was never with her. The war was always against the hunters. His decision burned in his chest. He stepped forward, standing beside her. Then we fight together. Kalira's black eyes glowed brighter, and her children's voices rose in a strange melodic hum. The ship itself seemed to breathe. Energy flowed through its systems like new blood. The final battle began. The Iron Dawn surged forward faster than it ever had. Its guns fired in rhythm with Kalira's power. Beams of light cut through hunter ships, tearing them apart one by one. But the largest ship fired back. A massive blast slammed into the Iron Dawn. The hull screamed. Crew members were thrown across the deck. Marcus roared over the chaos. Hold fast! Kalira staggered, blood running down her silver skin. Her children cried out, their glow flickering. Marcus caught her before she fell. Stay with me. Her voice was faint but strong. Not me, them. Protect them. Another blast struck. Systems died. The Iron Dawn drifted, broken. The hunters circled for the kill. Marcus rose to his feet, his body shaking. He looked at the crew, at the queen, at her children. He knew what had to be done. "Divert all power to the forward guns," he ordered. "Sir, if we do that, the ship won't survive. It doesn't matter." "Do it," the crew obeyed. Lights dimmed, engines failed, but the guns glowed with terrible fire. Marcus gripped the console, eyes locked on the enemy flagship. "For Earth, for the future, fire!" The blast tore through the void, striking the hunter ship at its heart. For a moment, silence held. Then the giant vessel exploded, flames ripping across the dark. The remaining hunters fled, their predator instincts broken. The Iron Dawn floated in silence, wounded but alive. Smoke filled the deck. The crew cheered weakly, some crying, some embracing. Marcus stood at the center, blood on his brow, his breath heavy. Kalira rose slowly, her children clutching her arms. Her black eyes found Marcus. "You chose," she said softly. Marcus nodded. "I chose the future." She touched his arm, her voice steady despite her wounds. "This is only the beginning. The hunters will return. Earth will come for me, but now, we have hope." Her children stepped forward, their glowing eyes staring up at Marcus. One reached out, small fingers brushing his hand. Marcus felt a strange warmth, deeper than blood, deeper than war. In that moment, he understood. This was not the end of humanity. This was its next step, Kalira whispered, almost like a promise carried by the stars. "Our heirs will lead the stars, Marcus Hale. Stronger than human, stronger than Karen, stronger than fear." The camera of fate pulled back, showing the broken Iron Dawn drifting among the stars. A ship scarred but alive. A ship carrying the seeds of something greater. And somewhere deep in its heart, the future of two species, human and alien, waited to rise. The strongest heirs,